All right, welcome back to another episode of Chess and Coffee, and we're celebrating Halloween today, so it's custom edition. So I have Gilbert, another member of the Miramar Chess Club, and he's a very good player. I have learned a lot of things with him. So we're gonna talk about it, and let's just have some fun playing a game, and hopefully my blunders are not scary enough, right? So
Let's go.
Let's play some good chess.
Best of
So,
luck.
Yeah, there we go. We're playing a 15-minute game, so no extra time. Yeah, there we go.
There you go.
First blunder, right? So, Gilbert, how long you been playing chess?
I learned chess when I was in college, which was years ago. So about 30 years ago. So I taught myself. I always see my family members play chess, but nobody ever, they were too busy playing to teach. So I taught myself by buying a chess computer from Radio Shack, setting it to the hardest setting, and proceeding to get my butt handed to me for years, until I finally started, figuring out certain concepts and the basics, and then, stopped playing for years. Picked it up, 10 years later, when the internet started having chess sites. Played on a couple of those for a while, and then that disappeared. And then fast forward to just before COVID, and this club started playing on a German site called playchess.com, which would actually, you would pay once a year, and they would actually give you a rating so you could actually play rated games. And that's when I really started to play for real.
Oh, I never heard of that one.
Yeah, playchess.com. So it was, I want to say it was 30 euros a year. It's based in Germany.
Is it still around?
It's still around. Yeah,
Really?
I have my account is still active, but I no longer pay for it. I play on chess.com.
Don't we all?
But believe it or not, the two grandmasters that I've played against online have both been on playchess.com.
Oh, wow.
And I've got their pictures. I've saved the screenshots because first of all, I thought they were kidding when they said grandmaster titles.
Nice.
The first one I actually played him. It was just an open search. He accepted the search, so I thought it was fake. We played. He actually asked me for a rematch, swapping colors, which I thought was cool. So played again. Obviously, he beat me both times, as you can imagine. Researched him. He was a legitimate grandmaster from Serbia.
Very cool.
I've got the picture of him on my phone. And then a few months later, played another grandmaster. We only played once. He smoked me pretty fast, and then just sort of moved on. And then that first grandmaster that I played against, we sort of crossed paths again. I think 6 months later, and again we did sort of home and away, one black, one white, back to back.
That's it.
And then but it was cool because at that point I already knew, okay, he's a legitimate grandmaster. I was able to do some research on him individually, and then through playchess.com they verify titled players, just like
correct.
chess.com does.
Correct.
So he was legitimately. Not only was he a grandmaster, but ours was when I was playing against him the first time, we were the main board. So like it's the when it's not the highest rated board, but it's sort of the featured board is what they would call it. So that one was the main game that was on their site. So all of a sudden we went from having like 3 or 4 people watching it to a couple hundred people watching it.
No pressure.
And then I looking over the number, they called them kibitzers. The number of the people kibitzing just started growing exponentially, and I started sweating. Not that it was going to matter.
So basically, this is a call out to Hikaru to challenge you.
Yeah, that's what it is.
That's what it is. That's what it comes down to.
Call me. Call me. Yeah, that's not what's happening. But no, again, it was and that's sort of where I began to, really play against players your own rating. Because if you're just playing against random players, they have no idea how good you are. You have no idea how good they are. You can play an excellent game against somebody that's just, lesser rated than you, or you can play an excellent game against somebody higher rated than you. You really don't know.
Correct.
So once the rating sort of, became a thing, and then it became an easier way to measure, actual successes, actual wins and losses, and actually how you're playing.
All right. So, and just for our viewers, Gilbert, is the expert on the Hippo opening. So that's what you're seeing right now. So that's why we're playing fast, because Gilbert and I play online, the daily games. And I check a record. You have beaten me about 75 times,
Okay.
and I won only like 22.
Well, that's still,
There's
that's
no shame on that.
yeah. Well, and a lot of that was also at the beginning of Roberto's playing career, when he was still learning and hasn't developed sort of to the player that he is
Yes.
now. Now as far as classical, we're comparable,
Yeah.
rating wise. So
Here-
don't let him fool you.
Yeah, so the disclaimer
That's why
is
we're
that
not
on
playing for
this-
money.
Exactly. For this one, it's going to kill me, but it's all good.
No, it's fine.
It's all about playing the game. But one thing that I was going to say is that when we started the club, you're a board member and you're
Yep.
one of the OGs that started with us, but you were mainly playing online.
Only playing online.
And you have never touched.
I had
like,
never
I mean,
played-
you have touched pieces. But
Yeah, I had played a handful of games against, my dad, a few games against my grandfather, but really never played over the board. So when I first started playing, the board looked new because everything was in 3D.
Yeah, and transitioning from online to 3D.
It's completely different. That took a good 3 months
Yeah.
just to be comfortable with, where things are.
Which one you prefer?
I'm just so used to playing online that I know it's sacrilege to say online, but, online.
How dare you?
Yeah, I know. As we're currently playing OTB. But what you don't get from playing online is obviously the relationships, the talking
The
smack,
interaction, yeah.
the interaction with the human interaction, that kind of stuff. You just don't get from playing over the board, from playing online.
You don't get to be a piece snob like triple weighted pieces, right? I don't play in anything else, so you
Yeah.
cannot be a piece snob
That's
if
true.
you don't play OTV. Those flimsy pieces, I'm like, I don't want to pick that up. That's how I build my muscle.
That's what it is. That's the exercise. We're building those chest muscles. Let's go.
All right, let's see what we have here. We do have a very interesting situation. You really made it difficult for me, did you?
Well, like this is on camera,
Yeah, I know. That's
I can't just go throwing some crazy moves out and just see what works. Like this is going to be a video for somebody somewhere.
I'm just gonna blame it on the glasses.
That's
I
fine.
don't
Yeah,
see
no,
the
I
black
can't
pieces.
I can't see the black pieces.
This is
Well, I mean, if that's the case, I'm just going to start putting some pieces back on.
yeah. There we go.
I should grab the queen while we're at
Blind
it.
chess, man.
How did you get 2 queens? I don't know.
I
It's,
don't
it's
know.
magic.
So let's see here.
Let's do that.
Why are you doing that, man?
So the key to the Hippo, for those of you who don't know, so the reason why I play the Hippo is, again, without having any type of formal chess training and playing online against rated opponents, I kept getting sniped by both fianchetto bishops. So I had to sort of develop a way to be able to play against it, and I played with the double fianchetto bishop. Had no idea what it was called until I started coming here and was questioned by everybody, like, what the hell are you playing?
Yes.
What is that? And I would play it as both black and white. So after coming here for a couple of weeks or a month or so and winning games because people had no idea what I was playing, I and everybody else began to research what the hell this opening was called. It's actually called the Mayensis opening. It was developed by a grandmaster, a German, I believe. I'm butchering his name. Mansis, I believe. But yeah, we just know it lovingly as the Hippo.
Yeah. And what I said at the beginning, when we started playing, I learned playing you how to play a very close position because I had never like I put a pawn against pawn and you're like supposed to take it and you started pushing it and locking the center and so on. And that was a very painful lesson.
Well, and again, it's learning how to play both open and locked
Yeah.
centers. So the idea with the Hippo, as Roberto knows, is to lock it to your advantage and then be able to push either F7 or C7, when the timing seems right.
Did I say that I don't like my position at all?
You might have mentioned it. I think that was that might have just been a nasty rumor. I wasn't quite sure.
I'm playing aggro on every episode. If I lose, it's because I'm playing aggro. That's the only way to do it, kamikaze style.
That was a good move.
I heard, and it's on record.
Let's go.
So this is what is called a critical moment in the game, because this is going to dictate the rest of the game. So for those who are watching, why don't you put in the comments below if you ever heard of the Hippo or if you play it. Tell me about the Hippo. We're gonna call it, what is it, Mumu, the new Hippo?
We're gonna call it something.
Alright, I have no idea. I'm gonna fall for it. You're sacrificing a rook.
Well, the rook was gone anyways.
Yeah, but right. So today you're drinking tea, huh?
Today I'm drinking tea.
Yeah, so it cannot be chess and coffee. Tea and coffee, I mean,
You could have just said it was coffee.
yeah, true.
Nobody knows. It's coffee.
So we got us a game here.
Let's go this way.
Okay. Where can I create trouble for you, man? Any suggestions?
Anywhere on the H file.
Yeah.
But trouble always goes both ways.
True. You moved that too fast, man.
I'm not saying I have a plan, but I'm not saying that I have a plan.
Don't like this. I'm going for it, man.
Take a shot, Lincoln did.
I know, that was coming. And you know, I was initially thinking if when we were here to shift it here, but then I was blocking my own rook. So that's why I'm like, and I mean, I'm already committed, so let's do something fun. I got 2 minutes, so I need to pick it up. Well, there goes my advantage. So don't try that at home, kids.
Always try it at home.
That was a good move. There's the scary spooky move. Oh my god. Yep. I went 40 seconds, that's why that hurts. That hurt, kids. It's so hard to see the black pieces with glasses like this.
So for those of you following along, yes, I'm giving up a pawn, but I'm trying to take control of the C and D files. Kick his queen off to the edge of the board where it's going to have limited defense capabilities.
Yeah. Did I say I don't like that?
It's all about the jumping knights.
Yeah. Oh, I lost it on time, so
Okay.
like, that was my move. What would have been your response?
My response to this probably would have been my initial would have been just to push check, and then your king would have to come up to f2.
Yeah, right? Here?
Yeah, your king would have to come up to f2.
So you come here, I come here.
You go to f2. At that point, I was actually torn between this move. Put the king back. The king was there. And infiltrating here first.
I was
Because,
concerned
again,
when you moved that pawn there, yeah.
Yeah, well, because I wanted to be able to open up this black diagonal. I actually had it originally for the
Bishop there,
for
yeah.
the bishop there was the idea, but I figured the bishop is safer here because it prevents the check, and then we do the exchange. So
Yeah, and I was put the moment you moved that my queen, I was going to shift it here to protect against the knight and do that.
and then try to hit it. So, I mean, this would probably be an in-between move because you don't have any checks, and you're not currently threatening any pieces, and at that point,
I'm fangless. That's
you're
basically
you're limited. You know, let's say you come in, it's check.
I wasn't going to do that because
I mean, I take, you take, and then I push check.
and then I'm blocked, and then what?
Yeah.
So,
Well, at that point, you'd have. Well, okay. So let's say we were there. So I do this, you do this, I take, you take. Now I come in with check,
Yeah,
and now I could at least get you running.
yeah. I'll probably come here.
Yeah, because I've got.
So, but anyways, that's
so
that.
anyways.
So the Hippo strikes again. Thank you so much, Gilbert, for playing. And yeah, for those ones who are watching, just let us know what you think of the Hippo, which is a very peculiar.
It is very peculiar. I like the choice of words.
And people are not ready for it. That's the whole thing. And you can play it open and closed. That's the beauty of it. Because with your bishops and with your...
And you can choose to close it in both directions. You can choose to castle in both directions. So it offers flexibility. It is passive.
Yep.
But, you know, you can also play it as white. So if you want.
Nothing wrong with it. You can see that it wins. So anyways, again, put in your comments below what you think of the Hippo, and if you want to see another episode of Chess and Coffee, just make sure you check on the videos over here. So with that said, until the next one.
See you.